please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you everyone for coming and those watching on TV. First on the agenda is our public hearing.
We'll go ahead and go on the record. This hearing is called to order at 7:00 p.m. This 14th day of December 2020 at Kerwin City Hall in the Board of Alderman Chambers. This hearing is conducted to consider the application for a conditional use permit filed by Zachary and Ashley McMichael to operate a non-owner occupied guest house at 108 East 13th Street in the R3 multiple family residential district. The application has been reviewed by the city's Planning and Zoning Commission, who made its recommendation to this board. Notice of time and place of this hearing has been published in the Kerwin Advertiser Courier newspaper. When this hearing is concluded, the board shall provide its decision within at least 15 days. According to city ordinance, before issuing the conditional use permit, the Board of Aldermen must ensure that the permit provides for the public health, safety, moral comfort, and welfare of the citizens, does not injure the use and enjoyment of the property in the immediate vicinity, that there are adequate utilities, roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities, that the use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding properties, that the use will not cause traffic congestion, and that requirements for public services such as police and fire will not be overburdened. The board may grant a conditional use permit for such a period of time as it finds to be in the public interest. The applicants will have an opportunity to present their case. If there are any documents that they desire the board to rely on, those can be submitted as exhibits. If they have witnesses whom they desire to speak, this will be allowed, and if they are represented by an attorney whom they wish to speak on their behalf, this also will be allowed. The board, after the applicants have submitted their position, may ask for testimony from others present in the room. At the conclusion of the testimony and comments, the board may deliberate and then vote. Whether the application is approved or denied is carried by a vote of the majority of the board members. And we will mark the following as exhibits. Exhibit 1 will be the conditional use permit application. Exhibit 2 will be the Planning and Zoning Commission's meeting minutes from November 18th, 2020. Exhibit 3 will be the notice of public hearing published in the Advertiser Courier newspaper. Exhibit 4 will be the affidavit of publication from the newspaper. And Exhibit 5 will be the entire municipal code of ordinances of the city of Kerwin, Missouri. Our applicants here, you'd like to tell the board what you'd like to do?
Yes, I have a presentation. Would it be all right to pass it out? And if we can, I would love for this presentation to be entered as an exhibit as well.
That's fair. Okay. It will be Exhibit A.
Great, thank you. So good evening. My name is Ashley McMichael. My address is 3830 Connecticut Street, St. Louis, Missouri, 63116. I'm here tonight on behalf of our application for a conditional use permit to operate a guest house at 108 East 13th Street, Kerwin, Missouri, 65041. I wanted to start this evening just by telling you a little bit about my husband Zach and I. So Zach and I are transplants to St. Louis. We moved there from rural North Carolina after college so that Zach could attend law school at Washington University, and so I could teach for Teach for America in St. Louis. Almost 10 years later, we are still in St. Louis. Zach is a lawyer, and I'm an assistant principal in the St. Louis Public School District. We manage a small long-term rental portfolio of our own properties in St. Louis. and we have a passion for real estate, wine, and exploring riverfront properties with our little dog Tucker. Riverfront dams, I'm sorry. We love visiting Herman, and we want to spend more time here. Our goal for 108 East 13th Street is to have a place of our own to stay when we come and visit, and use it as a responsibly run guest house when we aren't here to offset the costs. We are here today to request a conditional use permit for our new home. We are committed to being good neighbors and citizens of Herman. We thank you for your consideration. So one of the topics I wanted to talk about is the location of 108 East 13th Street, where this house is located. We feel that it's compatible for a guest house as it is surrounded to woods to the west and the south of the home. There's ample room for parking without taking away space from any of the neighboring properties. And while this is part of a residential area, our other neighboring properties also include a gas station to the west of the home, and a guest house across the street on the corner, and then there's a church to the south of our property on the other side of the street. And where that red dot kind of smack dab in the middle of the map, I know it's hard to see on these presentations. A little bit more about 108 East 13th Street. This home has been nicely renovated. It's most of the way complete. It just needs a couple finishing touches. But we intend to keep it that way. We intend to take care of it. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom. It's at about 1,040 square feet. It had new hardwood style vinyl flooring installed, brand new kitchen and bathroom. We put in the stainless steel appliances this weekend, and a new electric panel. After reviewing the Herman City Code, we do not believe the use of the guest house will in any way be detrimental to the neighborhood nor endanger public health or safety. To ensure that paragraphs 1 through 8 of subsection C are met, we propose the following conditions. Occupancy will be limited to no more than 6 guests at any time, pending the occupancy inspector's approval. Parties, events, or other large gatherings would not be permitted. Quiet hours after 10 p.m. and all refuse will be disposed of in the designated receptacles. In compliance with recently enacted orders, we will also have a property manager within 10 miles of the guest house. Diane Heaney has actually signed a contract to be our property manager, which we filed with the city today. Ms. Heaney lives about 4 miles from our property and also manages 2 other guest houses in Herman, and cleans, I think, for a number of other residences. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have. I have also attached a letter of recommendation from resident Gary Liebman at the back of your presentation for your consideration.
What's Gary's last name?
Liebman, L-E-A-B-M-A-N. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Do you all have any questions then?
On the application, it lists bed and breakfast, but you're actually, is a guest house.
It would be a guest house, yes, sir.
So the application says bed and breakfast, so that was my only concern.
It actually says bed and breakfast inn, which I think, Dave, is the same as the guest house, correct?
Yeah, the code defines the two the same, really.
Oh, okay.
We're interchangeable.
Well, except, thought a bed and breakfast, they had to live there.
The code has a definition for bed and breakfast home, which is where they have to live there, but a bed and breakfast inn, the owners do not have to occupy it.
And the parking, will it be all on street, or is there room to?
So we do not have a garage at this location, but we have a good amount of like wooded area leading up to our house, so it would be on street, but we've got pretty much that whole street leading up to the house.
David, what does the ordinance say about off-street parking?
What are we zoned here?
R3.
Tricia, we discussed this, didn't we?
Yes, we did. It,
Yeah. I'm
technically R3.
Researching as we speak.
R3 requires off-street parking, R2 and R3 do. C1 does not, and R1 Historic District does not.
So yes or no?
Well, if this is R3,
Or I'm sorry, it might be R2, but regardless, they're the same. No, it's R3.
I was told it was R3.
Yeah.
So that would be a disqualifier then.
Well, it is if it's required off-street parking. I mean, I don't have a problem with the guest house, but it has to,
And they've done,
conditional use permits have conditions, and that's a main one.
yeah, they've done an enormous amount of work there, though. A lot of work.
And there's also a guest house directly across the street.
There is.
Do they have off-street parking?
Those
Provided,
houses all
I
have
didn't even-
garages and driveways.
I didn't even look at that.
Yeah, yeah, there's garage.
Do you own any of the property to the west of that building?
Not at this time, I don't believe. We
I
didn't
mean,
have
the
it,
property line ends at the house?
as far as I know, yes.
Because there would be room on that side to fill in to put a couple parking
There would
spaces.
be.
But I didn't know where the property line was.
anybody else have any questions or?
Just waiting on you.
No pressure, no pressure.
Is there anything else that you wanted to say?
I would say if it comes up that it is a disqualifier, then we would ask that one of our conditions be that we apply for a variance for on-street parking.
That what?
That we would come to
Board of Adjustment.
Board
Board of Adjustments
Adjustments.
and ask that they grant us the ability to park on the street.
Right. That's the process, yes, ma'am.
Have you talked to any of the neighbors?
We have met our neighbor directly next door to us, yes.
And what does she say?
Well, so it's funny, so she came to the planning and zoning meeting, and she was actually the one person who spoke out that she didn't feel like the street needed any more guest house. And she didn't have like any negative experiences with the ones on the street. She just didn't feel like it needed another guest house. But after the meeting, we exchanged contact info, we made friends, and she's great with it. Like, I think she's fine. She met us and she totally understands, and she said, I didn't mean any harm. Like, I just wanted to see what was up.
I don't think any of your other neighbors mean any harm either, but they really don't want another guest house on their street.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Susan had some letters to enter into the record. Did you get a copy of them there?
Yes.
Do they need to be entered in the record?
Well, we have a note from George Epley. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Okay, Epley and Barbara. And then that's March, December 12th, 2020. And then a typed letter dated December 12th, 2020 from Rich and Ann Winkleman. And so we'll go ahead and mark the Epley letter exhibit number 6 and the Winkleman letter exhibit 7. And have you guys, have you seen a copy of these? Okay.
I have copies.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess my closing remarks, my husband Zach and I, we love visiting Herman. We have been here probably 5 or 6 times already this year. Always had trouble finding a place to stay when we came, which actually prompted us into looking to purchase a house here. I have a grandmother in Lake of the Ozarks. We found that this is a really great halfway point, and we meet her here periodically as well. Having a place here would allow us to have somewhere to stay, so it's not just a day trip with her. And we really do plan to use it ourselves and to be a part of the community, if y'all will help have us. And the guest house piece of this is really to help offset the cost of owning and maintaining this house.
Any other further questions?
Is there anybody else here tonight that wanted to speak on the application? It doesn't appear to be. Code section 42670 said, regarding off-street parking requirements, says that if your use is a bed and breakfast inn, then you shall have one space for each sleeping room or suite. And it doesn't sound like you have any off-street parking places as of right now. With respect to these letters are just generally, they appear to be anti-guest house. The Winkleman letter says that they don't want more guest houses popping up all over town, I think is what I read. And the Epley letter says they're just against another guest house. It's my opinion to the board that you can't use or shouldn't use the conditional use permit process to either give green lights or red lights to conditional use or permits for guest houses. In R3, they are listed as a use that is allowed with a conditional use permit. And what that really means is that not necessarily that the board can say or should say, yes, this one's allowed, this one's not allowed, this one's allowed, this one's not allowed. It means they should be allowed. And if you think there are issues with these proposals, then the way you address those is with the conditions, hence the conditional use permits. Your condition shall be, you shall have a buffer zone or this or that. And the applicant said that, or her request was that perhaps you indicate as a condition that they obtain a variance from the Board of Adjustment. I might suggest that we just adjourn this hearing and leave it open until our next Board of Alderman meeting. And then perhaps in the meantime, they can go to Board of Adjustment to see what Board of Adjustment says, and then come back and report that to the Board of Aldermen, and you can then take that into account in what you do.
When would the
Does that make
next
sense?
Board of Adjustment meeting be?
We have scheduled one.
They haven't met in
It's
like,
scheduled?
Yeah.
So hopefully, the next Board of Alderman meeting is January
11, so I don't see them having a Board of Adjustment meeting between now and January 11th. Or maybe early January.
They can have a meeting between now and January 11th, I would hope. Well, we will see. But that would be my recommendation, not to admit or deny or anything yet tonight, but since this parking is an issue, see, if the applicants don't apply to Board of Adjustment by the January 11th meeting, then you can deal with it appropriately, but if they do and they have a hearing, I think, then.
Well, I think, don't they have to meet the same public notice? It still has to be 15 days public prior notice, and by the time you get all of that,
The
it's
Board of
gonna be
Adjustment?
tight. Yes.
We just reschedule them until the first meeting after the Board of Adjustment can meet.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be January 11th, that's a month away. Well, we can keep this rolling.
Yes, sir, you said.
My name's John Cowan, I'm also from St. Louis. How many parking spaces are you requiring them to have?
One per guest room.
So if it's just,
It would be 3.
okay,
Unless you want one of the conditions, I mean, it's my understanding there are no off-street parking spaces at this time.
are you renting the whole house as one, or are you gonna rent each individual rooms out?
It would be the whole house as one.
So then you just need one parking space, right?
Well, that's not true, because when these people rent these houses out as one, sometimes there's 6 cars, because it's 6 gals from different parts of the state, and they all get together for the weekend, so.
The opinion is it's
That happens a lot in our little town.
2 people per sleeping room.
So,
There will be 3 parking spaces.
okay, so
You know.
if you understand what we're gonna do, then we will table this until the meeting after the Board of Adjustment. And whenever that date is, Trish will notify you, correct?
Can I ask one more question? Ashley, are your plans to make off-street parking and use part of that property? Has that been in your plans? Have you talked about that?
It's not possible on this property. On the front side, there's not room because of where the house is located.
We're on kind of a
Slope.
steep hill
Right,
behind
and on the
us.
back of the property, there's a creek that prevents off-street parking on the back, so.
Okay, okay.
Do we
Okay,
need a motion based on Dave's opinion, or?
The mayor has the authority
Okay.
to do that, yeah, it just.
okay, then that's what we will do. We will, I guess, classify this as tabled until the Alderman meeting after you all go to the Board of Adjustment. And that way we can move it along for you.
Thank you for your
Sorry we
consideration.
can't answer it for you this evening.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming. Does that conclude? Or do you have something else you need?
No, I don't have anything else. So we can go off the record, yes.
We're off record. Okay.
I guess.
Okay. Next, I have the mayor's report. Mine will be fairly short again, as usual. 2020 is coming to an end, and this has definitely been a challenging year. But, you know, Herman can count our blessings. Yes, we've been affected by the COVID virus. Many friends and families that we know have been sick, and unfortunately, some have passed away. Please keep these families in your thoughts and prayers through this holiday season. But even with the shutdown and the unfortunate circumstances that have been forced on our daily lives, Herman's been blessed. Our businesses have been able to survive thanks to the help of our local citizens supporting the restaurants and the businesses that are open. During this difficult time, the city sales tax base was much higher than we anticipated, which helped the city from having to make any drastic changes to services to our citizens. As the year ends, a few businesses will no longer be here. But change is good. There's many new businesses opening and more to open early next year. 2021 looks promising for business in Herman. Our street initiative has started and progress has been made. We've gained new police officers. We have dedicated people that work for the city that do not get recognized enough for keeping our lights on, water and sewer working, and our police officers that help keep us safe. And then our office staff, the administrator, the clerk, the tourism director, and all the ladies in the office that keep our city running smoothly. I personally want to thank every employee we have for a job well done. We can only hope and pray that the future will be bright. There will again be many challenges in the beginning of the year 2021. But I believe Herman is positioned well to move forward. I'm excited to see 2021, what it brings to us. There's many projects, and like I said before, new businesses that are going to open up after the first of the year. I'm wishing each and every citizen of Herman a Merry Christmas and wishing you a Happy New Year. God bless you all. City Administrator report.
Yes, sir. I submitted the last documents to close out the demolition of the hospital clinic building. Hopefully, we'll hear back from SEMA and FEMA. See, we have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. Per Alderman Fairby's request, we have a new compost sign at the entrance to the site. I don't know if you've seen that or not. Nice, pretty new, shiny sign. People should be able to locate the compost site. And then Jesse and I spoke with Central Electric regarding the 69 line. They're going to do some research on their end on the legal logistics. And they're also going to send us their standard easement form because they will need easements along portions of the line. And we will help with those easements, the city will. And Central will work with the city to eventually accommodate up to 2 distribution circuits on the poles. We also discussed the ownership options within the substation as well, and I feel we made some progress and we'll continue talking with them.
What do you mean on those poles?
The 69 kV poles are very, very tall. Normal city poles about 35 feet. I think these are probably 60 or 70. And we want to be able to tie some city distribution lines underneath those lines to make circuits and ties that are needed to keep the electricity flowing. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Tourism and Economic Development Report.
Good evening, everyone. For those here tonight or viewing at home who don't know me, my name is Tammy Brookerhuff, and I'm the Tourism and Economic Development Director for the City of Herman. My first day with the city was February 16th, 2018. Mark Wallace, our city administrator, is my supervisor. The tourism budget is primarily funded by the 3% lodging tax, along with grants from the Missouri Division of Tourism. I work very closely with the Herman Tourism Commission, which is made up of 5 citizens who are appointed by the mayor. The commission meets monthly and partners with me to plan and budget. In 2020, I was planning to reach new markets for Herman. In cooperation with the Chamber of Commerce, we sponsored the Herman Meeting and Events Showcase, marketing our businesses to small meetings and conferences in that sector. Just a couple of weeks after that, the tourism department held Herman's first Black History Month event, focusing on our early German settlers who opposed slavery. This event marketed a piece of history that many people did not know existed at Herman, but is told by the Deutsheim State Historic Site. In January, I started a spreadsheet of tourism-focused businesses to capture the days and hours our tourism-focused businesses are open. This information was formerly captured on each business listing on the old website. We knew we needed to capture those days and hours, and this was the answer. In February, we launched a new logo for our tourism brand, Visit Herman. We also launched a new website with a clean, new look and feel, fresh pictures, and a better site map going from 53 pages to around 20. The website, visitherman.com, is our #1 tool for marketing Herman. In late February and early March, we were learning of a worldwide pandemic called COVID-19. We did not know if, when, or how this would impact Herman. COVID-19 made its strong appearance on Friday, March 13th, 2020. That day, the Herman Area Chamber of Commerce made the tough decision to postpone the 41st annual Wurst Fest. It was the first of many events to be postponed and then ultimately canceled. In March, the Tourism Commission and I started working on the FY21 budget. It was a juggling match with several balls up in the air. We did not know how COVID-19 would impact our lodging tax revenue. We did not know if the citizens of Herman would vote on the proposed lodging tax increase. This vote was supposed to happen in April, but was delayed until June, which challenged our planning. The Tourism Commission and I developed versions A, B, and C of the FY21 budget, and then the Board of Aldermen opted to take $40,000 from the tourism budget to cover some of my salary and benefits. For the past several years, this position's salary and benefits was 100% funded by general revenue. So the Tourism Commission and I worked, we developed a version D. This version reflected the $40,000 decrease from my salary, a decrease in lodging tax revenue projections due to COVID-19, and a decrease in promotion. Version D is what was approved by the Tourism Commission and then the Board of Aldermen. In March and April, many businesses and museums temporarily closed their doors, hoping the pandemic would last only a couple of months. Our park was shut down, Amtrak went from 4 stops a day to 2. There was so much uncertainty, and businesses were changing their future plans on a daily basis. At the same time, banks and accountants were helping businesses navigate CARES Act funding, and during this time, some businesses were thriving. From March through July, I worked with many businesses to figure out their plans for closing down and/or reopening. After Memorial Day, we started marketing Herman again. The spreadsheet of businesses that I spoke about earlier became the COVID-19 business updates, which is a link on our website that we have referred thousands of visitors and locals to. In June, the citizens of Herman voted to increase the lodging tax. I applaud all citizens who voted for this increase, and I thank the lodging businesses for going the extra mile to collect this tax and submit it to the city. This tax is only paid by the people who stay in our lodging businesses. Lodging businesses will start collecting 5% lodging tax on January 1, 2021. In June, we were awarded a grant for the Missouri Division of Tourism to conduct a visitor profile study. This study was just completed. The Tourism Commission and I reviewed it with the firm that did the study, and we will work with the Missouri Division of Tourism, Madden Media, and other marketing partners to take next steps. This summer, I started a Facebook page for our city parks to promote RV and tent camping, another Facebook page for the Herman Amtrak Station and Visitor Information Center, and a third Facebook page for the Herman Veterans Memorial Park. These are great resources we have, and I strive to educate more people about them. In late July and into August, we learned we were getting CARES Act funding from the Missouri Division of Tourism. We were awarded $92,860 to promote Herman as a safe destination for travelers. In September, we learned we could apply for another round of funding, so we applied and were awarded another $25,000. We hired a contractor to help carry out this grant, which was money very well spent. With the CARES Act grants, we were able to do photography and videography of tourism-focused businesses and museums. We were able to increase our promotion of Herman in Missouri and the 7 states around us on Google, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We did promotional videos of the Deutsheim State Historic Site, Historic Herman Museum, and the Herman Firehouse Museum. We bought sandwich boards, masks, and hand sanitizers from local businesses. We partnered with Sedalia, Jefferson City, and Washington to launch a new campaign, Bike Katie, Ride Amtrak, with a new website, Google marketing, and social media marketing. We also did promotional stories about Herman, which can be found on visitherman.com. In August, we were seeing an increase of investors who were interested in starting businesses in Herman. I developed a spreadsheet listing the inventory of commercial properties for sale or lease. Mark and I have shared it with investors and real estate agents, and we have taken several investors around town for site visits. The inventory list is a living document that changes frequently, and I have a copy of it for each of you. This fall, we hired a webmaster contractor to assist with the updates on visitherman.com. We also hired a contractor to execute the Visit Herman e-newsletter, which we relaunched in November. This year, the Tourism Commission formed a finance committee, which evolved into the Vision and Finance Committee. This committee looked at the big picture of where the tourism department was, where we are, and where we are going. The areas of focus have been the official welcome guide and directory, the future of a welcome center, and the website agreement with the Herman Area Chamber of Commerce. The committee makes recommendations to the Tourism Commission, and the Tourism Commission votes on what to recommend to the Board of Aldermen. I have no doubt that the Tourism Department and the Tourism Commission will work to make the best decisions for our stakeholders, just as the Herman Area Chamber of Commerce will do for their stakeholders. As a community, we still have needs. We need more housing, we need a donut shop, we need a breakfast restaurant, we need a bicycle shop, we need a shipping and copying store, and more. We will continue to work on these challenges. I am proud of the businesses who persevered this year. I am proud of all the essential and non-essential employees who kept the wheels spinning in Herman and in this region. The business environment in Herman is exciting. Several businesses have expanded this year. We have several new businesses who opened their doors in 2020, and we have some who will open in 2021. Families are moving to Herman. Visitors are coming to work, play, and stay since they can work remotely from anywhere, not just their dining room table. I thank the Board of Aldermen for your support of tourism and economic development. I thank the Herman Tourism Commission for your time, leadership, and devotion to the Tourism Department and the brand Visit Herman. I thank all the city employees who make Herman a great place to live, work, and visit. And I thank the volunteers who give of their time to make Herman a better place to live, work, and visit. It is my privilege to serve the community of Herman. Thank you all for your time this evening. Any questions?
Questions? Thank you very much. Did we have any public comments?
Can I approach?
Did you fill out a,
He's on the agenda. He's on the agenda.
oh, you're on the agenda.
Oh, I'm on later?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know.
Oh, okay. Sit tight. Okay, let's move on to the ordinances.
Okay, the first ordinance for you to consider is bill number 2020-37 on for second reading. It's an ordinance to add a new section regarding outdoor fireplaces and fire pits to Chapter 203 General Regulations Concerning Fire, and to amend Section 203.030 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Herman, Missouri. And so at the last meeting, you generally approved of this, except you wanted to add a section about the lanterns, and that has been added. Sky lanterns, yes.
Luminaries.
Yes, page 2B5, the person shall not release or cause to be released an untethered sky lantern. And again, that is in the International Fire Code that I believe the comment was. It's important enough and easy enough to put in here, and more people read this code than the fire code, that it should be in here.
All right, any discussion? We have a motion to approve?
I move.
Second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
The next one for second reading is bill number 2020-38, an ordinance to approve and authorize the execution of a municipal services contract between the City of Herman, Missouri and Jennifer Davis.
Any
I move 2020-38 second.
Motion's been made, do we have a second? Second. Motion's made and second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, so carried.
Next, on for first reading is bill number 2020-39, an ordinance to approve and ratify a lease agreement by and between the City of Herman, Missouri and John Deere Financial.
Any discussion on this?
So we're going to sell the old backhoe, and that will cover the first year.
We did it, and we more than covered the first year, I believe.
And then the other years is going to be split between the other departments?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They do it. Any other discussion? I have a motion.
I make a motion to approve bill number 2020-39.
Second.
Motion's made and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So approved. We need to read this a second time.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Since we've been using it for a couple of weeks.
Bill number 2020-39 for second reading, an ordinance to approve and ratify a lease agreement by and between the City of Herman, Missouri and John Deere Financial.
I have a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve bill number 2020-39, second read.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? So approved. Okay, we'll move on. Any old business?
I'd just like to remind everyone to continue to take care of your health with flu season also approaching with COVID. Wash your hands, social distance, and when out in public, wear a mask. If you're not feeling well, please stay home.
Anybody else? New business? No new business? Okay, we'll move on to motions, minutes. And a motion to approve the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
So carried. Invoices for payment.
I move we pay the bill.
Motion's been made to pay the bills, do I have a second?
I'll second.
A motion is made and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
So carried. Hire Clarence Blankenship as a part-time custodian. Any discussion or questions for Mark?
When will you start?
After he passes the required pre-employment procedures.
All right.
Move to approve.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
So carried. Item D, Gary Lieben, Marshall Neighbor, request to approve a plat removing the lot line between lots 78 and 80 on West 4th Street.
And
Discussion.
Mr. Cowan is here representing them.
Do what?
And Mr. Cowan is here.
Okay. Any discussion?
I have a question, David. Legal ramifications of turning 2 lots into 1? Are there any?
No, it's generally allowable. They've gone through the process to have a survey or a plat of survey done that shows that lot line eliminated, and that's our concern.
Yeah.
To have that recorded so that it's clean, ongoing as property changes hands. But other than that, and making sure that that plat indicates appropriate easements for utilities and things like that, so we're good. And we submitted it to CM Archer, the engineers and surveyors, who issued a letter saying that it looked, that they approved as well.
Did it get signed off on?
Do you have some comments you'd like to make?
Yes, if I can wait till next month if I need to submit my questions. But Gary and I were wondering, or we're asking permission if we can excavate land 15 feet from 4th Street.
Why? Why?
It depends on where we're gonna put the house. If we have to put the house on the flat land, we need extra space for a driveway.
What's the setback up there, Mark?
I'd have to look, but it's less than 15 feet.
You gonna put in a retaining wall?
Mm-hmm.
It's,
I don't have a problem with it.
It's a
I mean,
straight
it
drop.
makes sense.
it's a straight drop off of 4th Street down
Yeah,
to
I-
the property. Yeah, it's, you've been there, you know.
Yeah, I said we rode bikes down that didn't have it.
There's a form, I'm sorry, there is a form, excavation form that you can fill out and
Okay.
turn in the proper public works people will check off on that.
Okay, so we do need an excavation form for that? Okay.
So that includes changing the address.
And that's my next question. We would like to request an address of 400 or 402 Jefferson. I don't know how you figure out what numbers.
Why does it say consider 538 Jefferson?
We wanted 538 Jefferson if we had to pick our own numbers, but I think within, I don't know what the succession of numbers have to be.
The collector and I were looking at that today and determined that your number would be 400.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
Because you'd be closer to the 4th Street side than the 5th Street side, so.
Okay.
And this is so you can build a house there?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the house gonna be?
It's gonna be an owner-occupied, yep, there's a picture of it right there. An owner-occupied,
Bed and breakfast.
guest house.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 5 bedrooms. I'm gonna live in 2, and I'm gonna rent the other 3 out, and I'm gonna live in there full-time.
And that is legal use for that property.
You're gonna live there full-time? is it?
I'm gonna live there
So it would
full-time.
be basically a bed and breakfast instead of a guest house.
You don't have serving food.
I'm not serving food.
You're not serving.
Hoping to break ground next year. Everything's done but financing. The house is designed, we're trying to work on, the lots and all that. The lot's been surveyed. So, I'm pretty excited to move to Herman.
But, you can build the house in that, but, you still have to go through the process to get it approved for the guest house and so
Yes,
forth, like
yes.
everybody else does.
Yeah.
Oh, as far as the request for moving the lot line, I move to approve.
I have a motion to approve that. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion been made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
What do we need to do for the address? Anything?
No.
Already got it. Okay, it should be 400 Jefferson,
Yeah, we'll notify 911, police and dispatch, and post office, so we do all of that in the office.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Okay, item E, declare the 2008 Crown Victorian Patrol Car as surplus property for public auction. Okay, any discussion?
So when this is sold, then that money will go toward the new car?
It'll go in the general fund, but yeah, that's where the new car
Be used
comes
for the
from.
new car? And the extra that's in the budget, they're getting spent, that'll be used on the new car too?
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion been made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Sell the car. Item F, annual Myrma insurance renewal.
This is a pretty much standard annual renewal. I am anticipating a better rate than the past 3 years because you had hit that peak of, we had a bad year about 3 years ago, and when you max out on your claims, then you stay at that high level for like 3 years, and so this will be the year we're coming down off the other side of that, so it should be a little bit lower than the last 3 years.
Cool. So we have to make a motion to approve this?
Yes, please.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the renewal of insurance.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
So carried. Liquor license renewals, y'all have a copy of all the businesses with their license. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. So approved. H, Police Department records destruction according to retention schedule. Need a motion to approve them to destroy the record.
I so move.
Motion's been made, second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Special event applications for the Missouri Stream Team Paddle Missouri 2021 Canoe Race at the Riverfront Park, September 21st and 22nd, 2021.
Move to approve.
Motion's been made to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
So carried. Reports. Okay, that ends motions.
I move we go into closed session, for the purpose of dealing with matters relating to leasing, purchase, or sale of real estate pursuant to state statutes.
Second.
Have a second. We have to do a roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Ayes have it, so carried. We are now going into close. Thank you folks for coming, and you all have a Merry Christmas.